After the lantern rings suddenly began flying off and decommissioning their owners, they all went over to Kyle Rayner, telling him that he has been chosen. He knew that this can't be good, as Arkillo then ambushed him to reclaim his yellow ring, only to get punched by Bleez, who was also there for the same reason. And before he knew it, he was surrounded by multiple lanterns asking him to give back what he had stolen. He then got slammed down into the subway by Arkillo, who was desperately trying to grab his ring, and although Kyle told him to take it, Arkillo would get electrocuted as soon as he tried to. However, Saint Walker then shows up to save him, as he takes him along with all the rings to planet Oa, where Kyle would rush over to talk to Ganthet, who very shockingly was acting pretty weird and soulless, which turns out to be because his brothers had removed all emotion from him. And while Kyle was angry about that, the Guardians didn't care and were asking him how he acquired all these rings, as they then began attacking him. But as he tried explaining that he didn't know, all the rings slipped onto his fingers, welcoming him to every single core. And so filled with all emotions, Kyle fights back only for the rings to disappear, leaving him exhausted except for the orange ring that reveals itself to be one of the constructs that belongs to Larfleeze, who then shows up to help Kyle against the Guardians, until Saint then comes along and teleports them all away to ultimately find out why Kyle was attracting all the rings. They go on a bit of a long journey, which most notably consisted of fighting Invictus, only to find out that he wasn't behind any of it. But later, when Saint, Kyle, and all the Guardians whose rings were stolen eventually concluded that Larfleeze was the ring thief who did all of this, they would come together to put him down once and for all. But in a shocking twist, one of Larfleeze's pets named Sade would turn on him, ultimately revealing that she was the ring thief. And when they asked her to explain herself, she stated that she was absolutely devastated after the Guardians stripped Ganthet of his emotion, and therefore in a desperate attempt to save him, she took the rings from the weakest members of each core and then sent them to the one person with the potential to control all the rings, and the one person who loved Ganthet as much as she did, which is Kyle Rayner.